All right, welcome back. Welcome in and bear down. This is just going to be a quick update video on the front office moves for the Bears. Hiring process has gotten well underway. This is from their own social media account. I'll just move me for a second so you can see. Ian Cunningham is not head coach candidate, but from Jordan Schultz, NFL insider, he has reported that the Titans are interested in interviewing Ian Cunningham. There will be a couple teams that interview him this year. He got interviews last year as well. He interviewed with the Titans 2 years ago, and apparently they liked him in that interview, so that could be something incoming. I would be shocked if the Raiders don't give him an interview as well. If you guys remember before this season, on the anonymous team polling, I don't know the right way to say that, but teams were polled, and they said Ian Cunningham was one of the most up-and-coming, one of the most impressive. So teams were impressed by him, so I'd be shocked if he doesn't get multiple interviews. As you know, with the Rooney Rule, that gives us multiple third-round picks, 2 third-round picks. Comp picks be around 98 to 103, somewhere in that range, depending on where we land in that. One this year and one next year if he gets hired. I don't know if it's better or not to lose Ian Cunningham. Obviously, there's talks about how he helps keep Ryan Poles level-headed, but, those things get talked up. And Ryan Poles is going to be Ryan Poles with or without Ian Cunningham, and somebody else can step in and help him as well. So losing him wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Also, not the best thing in the world, but we do get 2 third-round comp picks if he does get hired away, so that's a good thing. So there's interviews going on right now, so the Bears could be posting some more as we speak, but here's the ones that have been interviewed in the last couple days as interviews have started up. Mike Kafka, Mike Vrabel, Drew Petzing, Pete Carroll, and Anthony Weaver. As we know, Mike Vrabel and Pete Carroll more defensive minds, but extensive head coaching resume. Pete Carroll obviously has a Super Bowl under his belt, and with a quarterback very similar to Caleb Williams with Russell Wilson. So you can't discount that. Pete Carroll has a Super Bowl under his belt, and he's done it for a long time. Mike Vrabel also very respected in the league. So, those are guys you can't take and just dismiss because they're not offensive-minded. I do want an offensive-minded head coach, and I'll show you that graph again in a second. But all reports indicate that both of them interviewed very well. In fact, rumors, this is just rumors part, is that the Bears asked these guys specifically what their game plan was for Caleb Williams, how they would develop him, how they would help bring him along, and utilize the opportunity to have this very highly touted quarterback in his second year, how to develop him forward. And Mike Vrabel and Pete Carroll had the best game plan moving forward. That's just rumors that they both interviewed very well, but there's many, as we know, many interviews to come. The Bears have made this a very extensive interview process. So those who haven't seen this is play caller rating, an easy use button. So the top to bottom isn't nearly as important. I'll use pointer again. So this part isn't nearly as important. This is just how many times they call an RPO, a play action, a screen. Easy button is what they call that, an easy play call. Something easy for the quarterback to get out of his hands and develop it. Not much to it. So 11% to 20%, lower end, higher end of the scale, and you can see Ben Johnson's on the higher end of that. That doesn't matter as much. Really, it doesn't. If you're trying to develop a quarterback, maybe it's nice to have that in the beginning, but what's important here is the overall score of success on their play call rating. And these guys over on the right here are some of the best candidates for the Bears, and very rumored that many of them will get an interview with the Bears. So obviously, Ben Johnson is what everyone's considering the creme de la creme, and his interview is on Saturday, so that's when he will be interviewed. Joe Brady, Todd Monken, Liam Cohen, they're all in the midst of playoff preparations, so they can't interview right now. Now, after round 1, they can interview with other teams, but they can't interview right now while they're not on a bye week. So there's really no room around Liam Cohen right now, but there is rumor the Bears will request an interview with Joe Brady and Todd Monken. So here's kind of their history. If you look right here, this is the head coaching search. This is just their profile for each one of these guys, and I put it from left to right, my preference right now of where they stand. Excuse me. Liam Cohen hasn't had extensive background. He just became the coordinator of Tampa Bay this last year. But he was the coordinator with the Rams before under Sean McVay, so there's something to say about that. But he's just been in this one job for 1 year, and I think you need several years to be able to see how they do on their own job with that. So I'm not the highest on Liam Cohen. Joe Brady became the offensive coordinator this year. He was the interim offensive coordinator last year, and it has made a big difference with Josh Allen. In fact, if you watched the interview with Josh Allen just this last week, they asked him about possibly losing Joe Brady, and he said, "No, don't do it. Nobody wants to hire him. He's no good at his job." He was being sarcastic, obviously. And then he turned and said, yeah, he's amazing. I've really enjoyed having him here. He deserves everything good that comes to him. So obviously, Josh Allen wants to keep Joe Brady, but that's how these things go in the NFL, and he understands that. With Todd Monken, I'm going to show, in fact, let me just show it here. Let me move me back over. Todd Monken, here is the interview with Lamar Jackson in this preseason. So Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken has turned over the keys of the offense to Lamar Jackson. Now think about how this could be with Caleb. Caleb's developing. If Todd Monken took him and developed him this year and then slowly turned, I think this is something Caleb would really respond well to, that he would like this type of coaching. It's great. Jackson said during the broadcast of Saturday night's preseason game, I've been sending him plays of stuff I've been seeing, and he's been putting them in practice, and they're working. So it's like, I'm glad he's listening to me, man. Monken is the third offensive coordinator that Jackson has had in his sixth season. 2019 MVP already feels comfortable with Monken, whose resume includes directing Tampa Bay's passing offense to number 1 in the league in 2018, and most recently helping Georgia win back-to-back national championships. The meeting room, I wish you guys could see the meeting room. Jackson said he's full of expressing what he's got going on in his mind. His mind is everywhere. It's like, I love you as a coach right now. I'm grateful for him. So they're all going to have stories like this, though. They're all going to have something where, their quarterback is enamored by them and loves them and appreciates them. And then the biggest thing with Ben Johnson, the reason everyone loves him right now, is he's had several years and he turned down opportunities last year. So he's been the coordinator since 2022. So for the last 3 years, he's got more extensive offensive coordinator experience, and it's been a success there. So do I really have a home run preference of who we take? Yeah, I think Ben Johnson's the clearer-cut candidate. But at the same time, we don't know how his, that's why they do these interviews, so they can see how they might interact with the team. And maybe that Todd Monken experience with Lamar Jackson could translate well to Caleb Williams and how they handle the locker room. So these things will all make a difference. In fact, you listen to DeMarcus Walker when he talked about Mike Vrabel. He said a lot of things would change and a lot of personality and things would get shaped up around here. I don't remember his exact words, but he was basically saying that Mike Vrabel would bring a huge culture change and get guys in line in Chicago. So that would be interesting. And don't forget our good buddy there on the left, Thomas Brown, has already been told he'll be getting an interview. Who knows when that will happen? But it's kind of your quick rundown of Chicago Bears front office update of the day. I'm going to put a poll out there. I want to see what you guys think. Who you think the Bears' priority for the next head coach candidate should be. Obviously, on paper, Ben Johnson has 3 straight years of success with the Lions. But Todd Monken's got more extensive experience, and he's worked really well with Lamar Jackson, and it's showing some positive results. Lamar Jackson's year this year is, seriously, it's such a historic year for a quarterback. But Joe Brady's doing some things with Josh Allen where Josh Allen's roster isn't nearly as stacked as the Ravens roster. And Mike Vrabel and Pete Carroll have some head coaching experience in a Super Bowl for Pete Carroll. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. It should be resolved here in the next couple weeks. I remember last year the offensive coordinator was selected right around January 20th. So we're right on that same timeline. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Fun game last night between Notre Dame and Penn State. Another good one tonight. There's good football this weekend, so I appreciate you guys. I'll probably do a little less this weekend, but I'm going to try to get some more of my draft positional charts out for you guys, so we'll try to get that going. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that for this one. I appreciate you guys. Tune in. Keep tuning in. Until next time, the Bears, and bear down.